This is a story about two very different houses, but one very important lesson when it comes to abundance. The first house. This is about 30 years ago when Dan and I still lived in the Twin Cities. A neighbor just half a block away, their family was growing. They were expecting another child. And rather than move from our neighborhood, which was just a delightful neighborhood, they decided that they were going to add a second story to their first floor home. They were going to build up. And so they had all the plans. They were all excited about it. And part of the process of getting their building permit to begin to work with this is engineers or inspectors had to come in and they had to inspect the structure of the house to make sure that it could hold this upper level that they wanted to add on. Now, the house was in great shape. They took great care of it. It looked really solid from the outside. But when the inspectors arrived, they discovered that there were some problems with the foundation, that it was sinking in areas, that there were some beginnings of some cracks in some really important places. And what our neighbors discovered is they couldn't go ahead with their plans to expand and add to their house until they addressed those foundation issues. I remember even then, this was in the early days of my business, thinking, what a powerful life lesson. What a powerful lesson when it comes to abundance in my life and maybe in your life. That so often we have all these dreams of more and bigger and expansion, and those are all great things to have. But so often we take all of our energy and our time and our resources, including money, to like build and get bigger and expand. And when it doesn't work the way we wanted, when our efforts don't create results that last, we always think something's wrong with us. Can you relate? Instead of understanding that what may be going on is there's something wrong or missing with the foundation we're trying to create and build upon. That our foundation, that's in terms of what we know and our skills and our habits and our thoughts and our beliefs about ourselves, about money, about our worthiness, about all of that. Like our foundation maybe can't support the expansion that we want. Now, I never forgot that story, but I never really got the importance of foundation until we've lived here at the old farmhouse for 20 years now. Now, please know that they finished building our farmhouse, the original section of it, in April of 1865. That's the same time Abraham Lincoln was shot, right? And the original part of the farmhouse, for being 160 years old, is in pretty darn good shape, especially structurally. They built a partial basement with fieldstone, and they put tamarack beams underneath this house, which is some of the hardest wood and resistant to rot and all of that sort of stuff. So it's really in pretty darn good shape. But sometime after the original house was built, a previous owner decided to add on, to expand, to make it bigger. Sound familiar? And so they added this long hallway and some back rooms on the end of the house. And then they added another back room after that. Only they didn't put a proper foundation under it. No fieldstone, no tamarack, no real deep footings to protect against frost and heaving. In fact, on one part of it, they just put down a cement slab. Now, it wasn't too bad when we moved in 20 years ago. But over those 20 years, you know what's been happening to that back end? That expansion that they wanted for this house? It's sinking, literally. And in the next year or so, Dana and I are going to have to make a choice. Either we're going to knock that part down and rebuild it with the foundation it needs, or we're going to knock it off, close the wall, and then live in a smaller house. And it's already pretty small. The foundation is everything. You have dreams you want for your life, my friend. You long to have abundance in your bank account. You long to experience a sense of peace and well-being and freedom without all the pressure and the stress and the having to do more and make more and all of that. The place to look is at your foundation. Is the foundation you're trying to create all of that on one that really supports abundance? Or if, like me, this has been true of my life and not just my farmhouse, unbeknownst to me, my foundation isn't really solid. It's been cracked and weakened by scarcity patterns and habits that I've had all my life, by perceptions of scarcity that may or may not be true, by a definition of abundance that actually keeps scarcity showing up in my life, by subconscious beliefs and the ways you've been taught to live your life and accomplish things and manage money. If all of those things are riddled with or made of scarcity, then your foundation isn't going to hold you and the life you want to live. If your life is good right now, it might not be good in the near future, like my farmhouse. Or maybe it's good right now and your foundation can support what you got right now. But any ideas of expansion or more or growth? No. Now, the foundation work, that's not as fun as, oh, let's build the walls and let's put in the windows and let's plan the trim and let's paint the walls. And like, that's not nearly as fun. It's the type of work that nobody sees. Like our neighbors, they didn't realize their foundation couldn't support it, but they had to do it and nobody saw the difference. But it made the difference. Now, how do you know whether or not your foundation can support you? Or better yet, want to inspect your foundation and discover where scarcity patterns, habits, beliefs are not supporting you to have the abundance you long for in your life and in your bank account? Then please, please check out my 8-week Foundation for Abundance program, because that's exactly what it is. And if it speaks to you, if you're going, maybe this is where I need to devote some time and attention and energy before I start doing all my more bigger expansion plans, then I'd love to support you in this program. Details in the link in the notes below. Click on the link, read about it, register if it calls to you. Because my friend, everything rests upon your foundation.